plan is to convert the Western Star to a tractor. We're going to pull that dump body off. I'm going to get a fifth wheel plate put onto it, and we're going to get hooked up to the trailer and go get our seed for the spring. So it's early spring here on the farm in Wood Prairie. We're slowing down on shipping out orders. We're starting to have to think about groundwork and getting the crop ready. So part of that is getting our seed from local seed farms to plant out in the field. And to get our seed, we need a trailer truck. So it's about 14,000 pounds. You can do it with a pickup, but you know, if I have a trailer truck, why not? We sold the Ford LTL 9000 this winter. It was just time to move that on. We weren't using it that much, 3-4 times a year. It wasn't worth having, you know, the wear and tear on the truck, payments you have to do for it, the inspections and the registrations and everything, to have 2 trucks on the road. We've got the Western Star that used to be a tractor. We bought it as a dump truck. They had converted it to a dump truck. We're going to convert it back to a tractor. Then we can hook it up to the step deck and go get our seed and start getting ready for potatoes this year. So I'm thinking we need to go to the arm, the back corner here, and then convert over to the other arm, and mark it on the other side. That'll give us some stability because we'll be at different angles when you're lifting, instead of having one point in the middle, the whole thing can swing. I'll get a chain for this corner here. So we're worried about lifting this up nice and even so that it doesn't swing and smack into the cab, damage the cab or the exhaust at all. Don't have quite the ideal rigging setup, but I think this will work. I don't know if we have really 2 chances at it. Once we're up off that frame, I think we're up off the frame. There's no going back down. So we've got everything hooked up, all the rigging's on. We've got a crowbar and a sledgehammer in case it doesn't want to come loose. We're going to pick it up with the payloader, just a little bit, just to clear it off the truck, drive the truck out from under it, and then I'll drive ahead with the payloader and we'll set it down on some block, and that's the plan. We're going to watch it on all angles. I want the back to come up first a little bit. Well, no, because the cab's really close. We're going to find out, I don't know. We'll come up a little bit and then we'll assess before we lift it off the truck. We'll get everything right. was excited. Rolling. It's rolling. Careful. Yeah, there's a hole, but it's not lined up. Might be able to get a little bolt through there. All right, can you bring it around the front of it too? Would that help? Try it. Get a little bit of pressure up on it. Okay, so we've got the hydraulic unit off the truck. The truck still has a pump, which we'll need for the dump trailer that we're gonna buy. We're gonna need a hydraulic reservoir, so I'll probably just steal this one off of this dump body assembly. So we'll leave this here for now. We'll go get the fifth wheel plate, get the truck all dialed in, get the hoses and all the electrical and stuff ready to hook up the trailer. Well, that was a good time. Got the body off the truck, got the truck back here into the shop. We had a little bit of trouble with the body binding on the cylinder where the payloader was picking up. It also comes back when it picks up, the mast does, or the boom does. So we couldn't pick straight up on it. So as we got up and we were going to the full lift height of that payloader, it was coming back. You could see the body of the dump truck coming back onto the payloader, so it was pulling it off the truck rather than just pulling it straight up, which gave us some trouble, and it kind of bound everything up there for a little bit. And then also we had to have the payloader so close to the truck that the tires of the Western Star were actually rubbing against the payloader, and I was spinning. I couldn't get out of it. But everything worked out fine. The lift cylinder was giving us some trouble too there, but it got out of the way. It was okay. But yeah, so we got it all off. Everything worked out. Nothing got damaged. Set it down on some blocks so that if I want to set this back up as a dump truck, we have everything. Or if I really like it as a tractor and I like my dump trailer I'm going to get, I'll sell the dump body and recoup some money on that. Make the purchase of the dump body a little bit easier to swallow, or the purchase of the dump trailer a little easier to swallow. So I've got the truck back in the shop now. I pulled the fifth wheel plate off of an old farm truck we had out back. I'm hoping it will go onto the rails there that a fifth wheel plate bolts onto. I'm hoping they're universal. We're going to find out in 10 seconds here and see if we can bolt this down, get the electrical, get the air, get all the things hooked up, and get this hooked to the trailer and do something with this truck. Here we go. They do not line up. So the fifth wheel plate does not line up with the bolt holes here that are original on the truck. And I think it's the width that's the problem, and I think the problem is we've got rust forming between the frame rail and the rail for the fifth wheel plate. So we're gonna pull all those bolts off of these rails here, pull the rails off, beat all the rust out of it, and re-bolt them back up. And I think that'll close the gap up, and we'll be able to put this plate on. So it's been a couple of days. I've been working on this truck steady. I finally got the fifth wheel plate on. I had to take those rails off the side of the frame and knock all the rust out of there and put them back on. There was like 3/8 of an inch of rust on each side between the frame rail and the mount for the fifth wheel plate. So knocked all that out of there, got it all painted up, put the fifth wheel plate on, fixed up a bunch of little things on the truck, put the air hoses and the electrical system on it. Put those mud flaps on there so that it's road legal. Pile of little things I had to do to it. So the next step is fire it up, back it up to the step deck, get that hooked up, make sure everything's good on that. We'll get it hooked up to the trailer and check this out. So this truck's a little bit shorter, I think, than the Ford LTL was. So I had to drop the jacks down a little bit and cheat the air suspension up to get it to be at the right height to lock in and not bind up the fifth wheel plate. So we'll get the jacks up, we'll pull this out. Apparently the brakes are a little sticky on this and we're in the mud, so now we've made a mess. That sucks. So the air brakes on the trailer are locked up a little bit and truck's stuck. So I've got the crew coming to give me a hand now. Gonna get the white 135 going and give me a little help pulling up out of this mud hole I'm in.